Hello everybody and welcome back to the Nasty Talks. And as usual on Wednesdays, we talk about nasty stuff. And in this week's episode, we are back with Diana and we are focusing on open relationships as we did last week. But today's episode will have a focus on future perspectives on open relationships. So whether that is marriage or kids, and if this kind of relationship could actually work when the relationship matures and things get, let's say, a little bit more complicated. And I have a big announcement for you. I've opened up a Patreon account on which you are going to be able to go and see exclusive content for the podcast, which that will be bonus episodes, behind the scenes. You are also going to be able to get merchandise. So please, if you have the means to do it, support my work and get these wonderful benefits that come with a membership on Patreon, and enjoy the episode. Hello, Diana.
Hello, thank you for having me again.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Last time we talked about her open relationship and her experiences that she had with other men and other women as well in threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes. And everything in between, and how the open relationship works between her and her partner. Today we are going to talk about the future plans that she has for the relationship and how it's going to work. But before that, I wanted to ask you, do you think that the approach that you have in your relationship has helped people in any way? Have you had experiences where you've talked with men about it and they're like, an open relationship sounds good?
Yes, and actually quite a few, especially with older guys, older men. I've had a couple of dates with divorced men, and actually those are the most interesting dates, I would say, because you just get to another level of conversations. For me, I like to date and to have also this like kind of a normal date, even if I'm in an open relationship, where I get to know the person that I'm gonna have fun with.
Yeah, to make sure he's not like, he hasn't killed people and he's...
Also because of that, but also because I think the sex is so much better when you create a certain kind of connection with the person in front of you, and when you know a bit about them.
Yeah, I agree.
And there are some people that they are in there just for the sex and they are just going for the fun and that's it. But for me, it's not like that. So yeah, I'm always trying to get to know the persons, and sometimes it becomes in therapy sessions, I would say.
Okay.
Because we really dig down to the feelings, and for example, with the men that have been going through a divorce, they were saying that actually they didn't know about this approach of being in an open relationship, and that it might have worked if they would have communicated better also with their wives, but also if they would have this concept and maybe bring it into the marriage, to maybe not open it up to have a fully open relationship, but just have a threesome or introduce more new things and maybe other people, or
Yeah, or maybe this kind of flirt thing that you were talking at the end of the episode. You were saying that you were flirting with other men, and Matthias, your boyfriend, he actually was getting turned on by that, and the same to you.
Yes.
So you don't actually have to fully go and have sex with somebody.
But I think everything goes down to the communication, because if you don't have that also in an open relationship, things will go wrong and you will end up breaking up, and maybe even worse, like the breakups will be even worse than in a normal relationship, I would say. So the communication is just something that has to be there, and I think for a lot of couples, they just go with it and they don't try to improve that communication over the years, but it just dims down in a way. And that's what, in the end, brings it to divorce or to cheating on your partner and so on. And for me, I was also telling you about the jealousy in an open relationship. I think it's also a thing that I have from my childhood. Like my parents, they were cheating on each other, and so they my mom left when I was quite little, around 6-7 years old, from home. So and actually, I was listening to a podcast where it was a psychologist that was talking about open relationships and traumas from childhood and so on.
Yeah.
And actually, she was saying that usually it's not advised for women that have been having parents cheating on each other to be in an open relationship, because that can be very traumatic. But I think this comes also your ability of the control that you have about yourself, your feelings, how aware you are about the triggers. And I think that's also something for me, that with my ex-partners, like I was a bit sometimes more jealous, because I knew in my family what had happened and how,
and that is a possibility,
and that is a possibility. So I was like, it was always a bit of a doubt there. So now with the open relationship, I'm just aware that these things are happening. I'm okay with them happening. I'm getting turned on by them. Sometimes I'm getting jealous, but I also know that I'm a human being, and those are normal feelings when you have a partner.
Yeah, but when I actually also know that when you have traumas from your childhood, most of the times these things come from, you wanting to be the same as your parents, or wanting to be the total opposite.
Yes.
Yeah. And by saying that it is not advised for people to do it in a certain way, you don't know how that person is going to approach it. Is the person going to approach it from the opposite way or the exact way as the parents? So it depends on the person and how they cope with the situation.
Yes.
I think it's not, as you said, like one recipe for it. It's just something that we each have to experiment and experience and see how it works.
Definitely. And I think in general in life, you have to come to a point where you are aware that you are in control of your own life. Until a certain age, I was just thinking that, okay, this is who I am, and the environment shaped me like this, and I was having a lot of fights about religion, and me being really a sexual person, like wanting sex and wanting to be in a relationship where I can have that. So I was always like in a battle with how I was raised up and my environment and what I was feeling. Up until the point where I got more into self development books and read a bit more about that, and heard some podcasts where I was just more getting the idea that you can control your life and you are the only one that can decide for yourself, and you have to put your limits and your barriers, and you decide who you are. No matter what, there will be people that will judge you, there will be people that won't agree with you, but that's normal. I mean, we don't have to be all the same. And something that I was always like trying to do, it's to not judge and to understand. I have friends that want to be a nun, and they want to, even if they know that I am in an open relationship and I'm a really sexual person, they still have the trust to talk with me about it. And it's because I'm always telling them, you decide how is going to be the person that you want to be. And you have to be okay with that. And nobody else has to approve that. Like, you don't have to give the power to someone else to decide for yourself.
Exactly, because it is about what you let in life affect you.
Exactly.
If you have a strong sense of who you are and who you want to be, then whatever anybody else tells you is not really gonna matter.
Yes.
But if you are insecure about yourself and you let all these small external factors affect you, then obviously it's gonna be way harder for you to, be who you want to be.
Yes.
And it's all about, making a little bit of creating these boundaries for yourself. And okay, today I decide that I don't care about what other people say, and then you stick with it, and that's all you have to do, and life gets much better from that point on.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that sometimes you will get back into maybe a loop where you get yourself down, maybe sometimes, but you have to remember yourself, hey, don't go there. It's not okay. They are not entitled to put a label on you just because you decide to be another type of person that the society doesn't approve upon.
Yeah, exactly. And if you keep on, wanting to hear these voices, these outside voices, then you're giving the power to somebody else rather than you.
Yes, and I think it's very important. Like, I've heard at some point someone saying that if a person that speaks another language talks to you really badly and makes you like all these negative comments to you, you will not understand, so it won't affect you, so you will be okay. So do that also with other people. Don't give power to their words. Take their words, throw them to the soil, and just be in control. Because after all, like, there will always be people that maybe they will envy you, and that's why they are trying to hurt you, or maybe they are being hurt by their own traumas and they don't know better.
They're just projecting their own traumas onto you because they don't realize that it's actually their problem that they need to work with. Yeah. I actually wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the relationship with Matthias, and how does it work when you know that he's gonna have sex with somebody, that there is gonna be a physical connection, but how do you feel about the emotional connection that he might have with another person?
Yeah, I think that's something that mostly it's more like scary, because you are always maybe afraid, like, okay, if he gets this better connection, like also like on different levels, maybe friendship, maybe professional also, hobbies, I don't know, and he's just aware that this person is amazing, there is this fear, but I'm also aware that I haven't connected with another person better than with him, and it's also the other way around. We know that we work so well together, and it's not only anymore about love, it's about a choice of staying together. I don't believe in, oh, we are forever in love. No, I believe that there are stages in the life of people. So there is the stage at the beginning where you are passionate about that person. You are so taken and everything is pink, and you are so attracted by them, and everything it's like a rush, and
it's that honeymoon period.
Exactly, the honeymoon period. Then you go into more relaxed, you enjoy your relationship and so on, and then it's a decision, like after all those barriers are down, and after because at the beginning you see your partner as they are perfect. You don't see any flaws, you don't see the negative sides, because it's just you are kind of like under a spell. So then when you get to that stage where you see the negative things, that's where you take the decision, do I want to be with this person? That's where you take also a rational decision, do I match with this person? Do we have the same interests? Do we have the same goals in life? Do we have the same values? And it's a choice of being with your partner. So me and Matthias, we are just 100% aware that he is the person that I want to spend my life with, and I'm the person that he wants to spend his life with. And you just feel it, and you just know that I know I will meet a lot of amazing people, a lot of guys that maybe if I wouldn't be in a relationship, I would consider them as partners. But I also know that my partner has ticked so many boxes of what I need in a partner that I have what I need. I don't have to look for something else. I like the attention of some other guys. I love the sex. Maybe yes, I do get, for example, different ways of having sex with other guys.
Yeah.
And that's great to have upon what you have. I always have great sex with Matthias, but it also goes up and down. And I think what's nice about us is that we are aware that it's normal. That's normal in a relationship. Some people, when they get more like in a down period or in a more not so passionate period, they start to doubt if they still feel something about their partner, or if their partner is still attracted by them. But we also might get that doubt, but we are just aware that it's just a phase and it's totally normal, and then it goes up and down. It's not a linear thing to be in a relationship. And if you are aware of that, and if you are very honest with what you need from a partner, and it's also then to be like satisfied, like, because usually we always want more and more and more in general with everything. And I think it's also in a relationship important to see when you just have what you need. And we do feel like that. So there is no fear that other person will become more, because we know what we are for each other. That being said, it doesn't mean that we won't have certain feelings for other people. So I might go out on a date and have a stronger connection with a person, not just sexual. And I think that's also normal to realize. Some people that are in an open relationship cannot accept that, and then they have to work with that and see how they can go further on. But for us, and I think especially Matthias was amazing at this. Like, I couldn't have a better partner in my life, because he is so genuinely happy for me, even if I get like another kind of connection with someone else. For example, with this guy that I'm meeting now we are mostly friends, but at the beginning you could feel that it's more there than just the sex. And I told Matthias, and he was okay with that. It can hurt, but just the fact that we are so honest with each other brings you a respect for your partner that it's unimaginable, and you just have that 100% respect, and you just know that, okay, this person is willing to do so many compromises, and also to get hurt a bit, to just have maybe an amazing life otherwise. Because you will get, no matter what, also in a monogamous relationship, you will get hurt, and you just, it's important to how you act upon it.
Yeah, of course. How you
react to
how you
it.
communicate.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have an idea of what will happen if you would get married with him? Or are you even planning, like, do you believe in marriage?
Yeah, I mean, believe in marriage, I don't know what to say about that. I would like to get married, that I know of. I think it's important, especially if you also, it's not like that marriage signifies necessarily something, but it's also like practical for whatever you want to do in life. Also, if you have kids, to just have that sense of family. So we both want to get married at some point, and we know that we will come to that point. I don't know when yet. I think pretty soon might be something about that.
Okay.
It's just a feeling. It's also, he's gonna meet my parents, my family this summer, so I kind of feel that after that maybe something will happen. But yes,
I wish you luck with it.
Thank you so much. But we definitely will get married at some point, and I don't think it will change anything on how we approach our relationship. When it comes to kids, we've talked so much about it. We are up and down on wanting or not wanting kids. So I think we will just see when it comes to it. Overall, in my life, I always knew that I kind of am a person that will want a family, a large family with kids and so on.
How many kids?
If you would have asked me 5 years ago, it would have been 10. Now I'm more like, I just know that if I will have kids, it will be more than 2.
Mm-hmm.
If that's if my body can
Can
deliver
take it.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. And about how we will be with our kids, I don't know yet, honestly. We are thinking and we are talking a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very sensitive subject, but I think as I know ourselves, we will be open about who we are,
With your kids also.
and also with our kids. Maybe not from the when they are really small, because
Yeah.
they don't really understand that.
No.
But as soon as we see that they will understand more and they will be able to digest some type of information like that, we will be open with them about it.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we definitely know that we will do is talk about sex with them since they are really little.
That is very good.
Because I think it's important also for them to know when someone is sexual with them, just in case something also approaches them when they are kids,
Yeah.
and they should know if that's normal or not.
Mm-hmm. I agree. There are so many things happening,
yes.
and if the kids don't realize what is going on, they don't know what
Exactly.
the situation is, then they are not gonna.
Or they're not going to tell you, or they're going to see it as something normal, and
like a
a game.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think it's very important to talk with your kids as soon as possible about what's normal and what not.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, our goal is, if we will have kids, to be really open about sex and what's normal and what's not. And also to just make them feel comfortable to come to us and say, hey, mommy, this man did that, or this woman did that. And
Yeah.
to create a safe environment from a sexual point of view in your own family, because I think a lot of families lack on that, and that's why kids sometimes get in bad environments or take bad decisions, and then they are also scared to ask for help, and then it just becomes a loop of negative things around sexual
yeah, because sex is such a taboo topic. So, nobody wants to talk about it, but then the kids are going to find out from older kids, and they're going to feel
online now.
Or online,
it's so much online, and
exactly. And it's not necessarily that you get the best picture from these kind of situations from online or from older kids. You get a perspective about it, which maybe shouldn't be the first perspective you get on sex.
Exactly. And I think that's very important to talk with kids. There are different ways of approaching sex. There are different environments, and
yeah, I agree.
It's something that I think we lack a lot about, especially back in Romania.
Yeah, there are definitely countries where it's more accepted and people are more open about sex education and what happens with their kids regarding sex. But in other countries, it's still, I think, probably because of religion and because people don't want to change and believe in the old system of doing life. Then I think it's more difficult in those countries. But slowly, I think it's changing everywhere. And
and I think, for example, what you are doing, I heard to the other podcasts, the episodes from the podcast, and I think it's so natural, the approach about the conversations around sex, that I think will help and is helping people. So it's really nice to see that you are doing this, and for sure it's helping people out there.
I'm happy to hear that. And thanks a lot. Okay, I have a last question for you. So knowing all you know now about open relationships, what advice would you give yourself if you were to be at the beginning of your journey again?
I think if I would be at the beginning, I would just say, just trust yourself and your partner 100%, and also be bold. Because many times I was just scared to try things, and even if the opportunity came, because sometimes because I had my own judgments from that I took from society and so on, but also because I was just afraid how I will feel or my partner will feel. So it would be just be more bold and go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what everybody can take from this episode is to maybe not think so much about the consequences of having an open relationship and just going for it.
Yes.
Because most of the times I think consequences, we don't know what that's going to be, even if
Exactly.
that is positive or negative.
Yes.
And if the situation that you are in right now, you don't feel that it's really working for you, then a change would probably be a nice way of trying to do your best by making it work.
Yes, and I think you just have to try to push yourself to know yourself better from all points of view. I'm not saying to try to be in an open relationship, because I think that's something that you have to feel comfortable to try it, or at least interested to try it, and it has to be from both sides. So you have to bring first the communication to a good level with your partner, and then if the communication is there, I would just say go out and try it. Maybe it's not for you, so then you can anyway stop it at any point.
Yeah.
So if you try it with your partner and see, okay, this is not for us, you can anytime go back to a monogamous relationship, or maybe you will find things that you didn't know about yourself and you want to implement in your relationship.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you very much for putting this perspective into our minds about the open relationships.
Yes.
And I think and I hope you will get kids at some point and you will teach them about sex and how sex should be actually in order to, live a happy life and all that. Because I can see that you're very sexual and you're very open about it, which I really like.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think if I will be a mommy, I will be a really open-minded mommy. Yes. Trying to create a safe environment for my kids. Yeah.
That's what we like to see at the Nasty Talks. And thank you very much for being here and sharing all the information that you know and that you have and that you've experienced.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I really hope this helped you in some way to see things different.
Yeah, definitely for me it helped, and I hope that for all the listeners it did. So until next time, stay nasty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe to our channel to not miss any of our future episodes. And until next time, take care and stay nasty.